This week for reading, we're going to be talking about main idea and supporting details for nonfiction texts. So we're going to go ahead and read through this short article together and see if we can figure out what the main idea and the supporting details are. Not your average reptile. Alligators are just like any other reptile, right? They're cold-blooded, lay eggs, and have some of the roughest, toughest skin in the animal kingdom. Wrong. Alligators are anything but average. These creatures are actually quite amazing. Let's take a look at some of the cool adaptation alligators have that make them rulers of the food chain. First, alligators are amazing hunters. From their razor-sharp teeth to their bulletproof type skin, gators are practically hunting machines. As if that weren't enough, alligators are able to stay completely underwater for up to an hour. This allows them to remain totally hidden from their next meal. Once an alligator swallows its prey, their strong digestive system is able to break down animals, even bones, quickly. Alligators are also very speedy for their size. Even on land, they're able to move at speeds up to 25 miles per hour for short periods of time. Their speed is even more impressive in the water, where they're able to use their strong, broad tails and short, bendable limbs to propel themselves forward. It's no wonder they're able to surprise attack any animal they have their eye on. Alligators are distant relatives of the ancient reptile Deinosuchus. This dinosaur reached lengths of over 30 feet, yet was still quick enough to leap out of the water to capture its prey. Just like its alligator relative, these reptilians had large mouths full of teeth with strong jaws that were able to crush bone. So now we've learned a lot of interesting things about alligators. We need to decide what we think the main idea of this passage is. One clue we're going to find is if we look at our title, this is telling us we're reading about not your average reptile. So we know the author is arguing that alligators are not like every other reptile. And again, we see this reinforced when we read through the first paragraph, where at first it tells us why it's considered a reptile. It's giving us these key features of reptiles we learned about. But it also says alligators are anything but average. So this is what my author is going to be arguing. These creatures are actually quite amazing. And then they tell us that they're going to be talking about a few adaptations that make the alligators amazing. So for our main idea, our author has told us they're going to be arguing why they believe alligators are not just average reptiles. So our main idea is going to be alligators are not your average reptiles. So now that I have my main idea, I need to find my supporting details. How can I back that up? If I'm claiming that's what this article is mostly about, that's what it's mainly talking about, I need to find things that support that. If that is the main idea, I should be able to find several examples of things that back up this statement. So this is my broad statement, my tabletop, and now I'm looking for my supporting legs. So when I go through, one of the first things we read about when we're looking, here's an example right here. It says first, in my second paragraph, so we talked about alligators are amazing, and we're going to talk about why. So my first paragraph, I'm probably going to be able to find a supporting detail here to tell me why alligators are so great. So first, alligators are amazing hunters. Well, what makes them an amazing hunter? From their razor-sharp teeth to their bulletproof type skin, gators are practically hunting machines. So they are built and designed and adapted to hunt. And these are some of the things that make them so great at it. As if that weren't enough, so we're going above and beyond how amazing those things are, alligators are able to stay completely underwater for up to 1 hour. So for me, when I read that, I think that's a really great detail to use to say that alligators are not just normal reptiles. I don't know many other reptiles that can stay underwater completely for up to an hour. So my detail is going to be, we're dealing with hunting, so I'm going to say alligators are amazing hunters. And I know this because they can remain underwater for up to an hour. So that's a great first detail for my story. So my second detail, I'm going to keep reading. I've talked about in the first in the second paragraph, how they're great hunters. So now I'm going to look at the third paragraph. So we're continuing on with adaptations. We have all of these things that make them great hunters. Alligators are also very speedy for their size. Even on land, they're able to move at speeds up to 25 miles per hour for short periods of time. And their speed is even more impressive in the water because they're able to use their tails and their limbs to propel themselves. So I think that is a great supporting detail that I can use to argue that alligators are not your average reptile. So back to my chart, I'm going to talk about my second detail is going to be alligators are speedy animals. And how do I know that? How can I prove that? They can move at up to 25 miles per hour on land and even faster in water. So again, my main idea, alligators are not your average reptile. My first and second supporting details I have talking about their hunting skills and also about how speedy they are. So what I want you to do now is figure out what you think the third supporting detail is. You might have to rewatch me reading this, but focus on the last paragraph and see if you can find a detail in here that supports the idea that alligators are amazing reptiles.